My research focuses on political violence on the Illinois home front during the Civil War. Uh, Previous historians have looked at violence on the home front mainly from the perspective of a political narrative, using accounts of these of violence as means to show the growth and dissent on the northern home front during the war. I'm looking at it from the community perspective, from the bottom up.
I think Jason's project is very exciting on a number of levels. He's looking at, as he said, political violence on the home front during the Civil War, focusing in on central Illinois. And this is an area at this time in the state's history that is pretty evenly divided. No one has spent the kind of time that Jason has in the local newspapers and the local archives, really digging deep at such a grassroots level and such a microcosmic level, central Illinois, to see how these conflicts over these national policies sort of play themselves out and sort themselves out in a very local context. We really see during this time period, and in these instances of violence, we see this sort of neighbors' war.
The Civil War itself piqued my interest as a child when I first saw the movie Gettysburg on TNT, and I always sat there and I wondered why these guys who profess this fealty, this loving of their enemies, will yet go out there and kill each other. So, over the years I got interested in the battles and all that stuff, and it wasn't until I got into college that I got interested in the political background of everything. I found out that Mark was working on a book about Illinois on the home front, or Illinois' home front during the Civil War, and that interested me. So I ended up coming here to work with him on his book. Eventually, I started doing GA research for him, looking into certain reactions that Central Illinoisans had to certain policies. And while I'm in the microfilm room, going through the microfilm, I keep on running across these little snippets of violence that happen in these communities. But the main resource that I've been using that's really been underutilized by the historiography is the Provost Marshal reports for the state of Illinois. And these are people who operated in the community, enforcing the draft, arresting deserters, and doing a whole assortment of other things to enforce the draft at home.
Jason has just been enormously diligent in the research, and he's got a lot of stuff that's not even going to be included in the thesis because, frankly, it can't be, or else it would be 800 pages long. And I think, his work ethic has been most impressive to me.
He has challenged me. I always thought I was a pretty good writer, but he's pretty much showed me that I need to work on that a little bit. So I'm learning to make it a little bit more short and sweet. He's proved a good source, a good person to bounce ideas off of, hone in on what I should be focusing on, he's just been a good guy to work with.